Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Okay, guys, this month's conversation is about being solo, independent, and not lonely. Okay, so because being alone doesn't mean you abandoned, sometimes it means you're finally, sorry for French, yeah, finally choosing yourself, guys. Okay, so hey, guys.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Hi.
Hi, so nice to be here. That's episode 6. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's flying.
We're really
Yeah,
going.
we've gone that far. Episode 6. Amazing. Okay, guys. So we're going to start. Okay. But before we start, let's introduce ourselves to our lovely audience. And by the way, welcome to the Bold Women Table, where we're living boldly, aging wisely, and manifesting intentionally.
I love
Okay.
that. I
Yeah.
absolutely love that.
Okay. Ladies, okay, go ahead. Vicky,
I,
tell
I,
us.
I, I can go first. I'm Vicki,
Yeah.
and my channel is Aging on Your Terms. And on my channel, I share my family's happy, sad, crazy, chaotic life of people who didn't plan for how they want to live when they get older to try to spare you from the same fate. And hopefully, we can learn and from our ancestors and not do the same thing.
Okay. Uh, Kim.
Hi, everybody. I am Kimberly. My channel is me, where I share my past. I say my past bad relationships, my current good experience, and then my future of manifesting my life. My channel is just me and my experiences and whatever goes on up here. The goal, or I think by now I'm actually like keeping up with it, is making sure that I express myself um, on camera as often as I can whenever something sparks in my head. So come along and hear my thoughts. I will say.
All right. Hi, guys. I'm Jase, and I am your traveler buddy. Okay. The channel is all about traveling and living boldly and, going after your dreams. Okay. The time is now. And don't wait for tomorrow and some days, okay? Traveling, discover the world and discover yourself while you travel. And so this is me, okay? All right, ladies. So we're going to start with the first question, okay? I'm going to start, then we're going to take turn. I mean, you guys should know by now, like I'm talking to our audience, right? And guys, you guys watching, please like the video and tell us, we're going to ask you some question at the end. Have a discussion with us. We love reading your comments, and yeah, that's a conversation for all of us. We're doing this show for you. Okay, so let's go for the first question. So, when did you guys first realize that being alone didn't automatically mean being lonely?
Oh, can I answer?
Sure, sure.
Sure.
um, this reminds me when I finally was in my own apartment. I finally manifested my apartment, got the apartment that I wanted. And, I was actually scared initially before I even manifested my apartment. The thought came to manifest my apartment. I thought about it. I was like, am I going to be good alone, like living by myself? I've never lived on my own before. And I found I had a fear. I actually had a fear of, you know,
Mhm.
going through this whole lonely phase or whatever. And I was like, nope, I want it because I'm tired of living at people. So, did that Neville Goddard living in the end exercise where I basically saw the apartment I wanted in my head. I did that every day. Anyhow, when I got by myself, I enjoyed at least the first year. This is before I decided I wanted a partner. So I lived that apartment for 2 years. Um, so the first year was amazing. I love as soon as I come through the door, I would just take off all my clothes just because I could. Pop popcorn on Sundays instead of cooking. I did not. I used to go to work and rush to come home. You would swear that I have like, like I have to get home. For me, it was I need to get home, get in my space, and I don't want to hear anybody. I actually had a new job back then too, and as much as I knew had friends at work, I didn't encourage calling me after work. So I used to tell everybody I don't do work when I get home. Because it was me, my Hallmark movies, and or a good action movie, and it just being in my own space, and I love that. I love that
Mhm.
I got that time. I wouldn't say that like I felt like lonely, and this time I was just enjoying the freedom of just having my own space and doing what I want. And yeah, I realized I'm actually a clean freak in that time. Because as soon as I'll be exercising, like let's say like I'm on the floor doing planks and I see like a speck of dust, I'll get right up, get my dustpan, and I'm sweeping. I'm like, Kimberly, what's wrong with you? Like it's spick and span. It was so bad that the first time LeBron actually came over when we were first started dating, and it had like this bad period pain. And he brought me, it was like middle of the night. We were talking on the phone. I was in so much pain. And he said, he has Panadol. I don't know if you all know Panadol, but he had Panadol works.
What?
So he had a Panadol and it's a pain. You know how you have like Advil,
Mhm.
it's like a
Yeah,
pain, right? So
yeah.
in Barbados, we have Panadol, and it's amazing. Panadol Ultra is awesome. Anyhow, and he brought it for me, and he said that initially when he walked through the door, obviously I'm sick. I've been sick all night, so I had no time to clean nowhere. Um, and when he walked through, he was like, "This girl is really clean." I was a freak, like literally. But I enjoy that time. Don't know if I answered the question. That's normal.
You did.
Oh, good.
You did, definitely.
Uh,
Vicky?
I think for me was Michael and I, when we lived together right before we got married, I had gone from living in a house with a whole bunch of people to being the youngest of 6 kids. I never knew quiet. And so
Mm.
when he and I moved in and he was gone a lot at work, and so I was there by myself, I realized, holy crap, this is what being alone is like. because
Wow.
before before alone was you go to your room, but you could still hear everything around you. There was
Mhm.
no quiet. I'm sorry, 6 kids in a house, there's just not a lot of peace and quiet. And that was when I realized that all the people that I thought were lonely and when they lived by themselves, or my friends who had no brothers and sisters and they were just them and their parents, and they'd come home from school and it would just be them. I always thought that they were lonely, and I'm like, oh heck no. They were in heaven and I was in purgatory. And so I had time to think and I could read and remember what I read because I didn't have all these interruptions. And it was like, wow, being alone is not lonely, it's freeing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Exactly. For me, I bought into what society, um, the society believe like eating
Hmm.
alone is lonely. I was like being alone, seeing alone outside. I wouldn't dare like eating outside by myself because like people would think that I'm lonely, etc. I bought into all of that anyway. And when did I realize that for me, all started with when I started traveling solo,
Hmm.
and like if I can just talk for last summer when I went to Europe, and guys, I went to a coffee shop to just have a coffee, and
Hmm.
I enjoyed myself fully. And there's a guy that started talking to me. I was like, please, brother, no. You know, I'm like, he was a nice guy, like he was sat there. I went on the opposite side, like, because I just wanted my peace. I didn't try to be
Hmm.
mean.
Right.
I say hi, thank you, but no, thank you. I buy my own coffee and whatever, because I truly enjoy that time. I've truly embraced that time for myself, and where you can just sip your coffee, read your book, it's, I don't know, it's a time
Do
that I
you?
love. Do
Yep.
you exactly? And I realized it while traveling, because, like Vicky and you were saying, it's once we got to that situation where we find ourselves alone, and you may be seeing your friend who maybe are alone with their parents, etc., and we think they're lonely, and you, when you left that relationship, and then you are alone, and you're like, oh my goodness, alone is freedom. Or wait, I have another story. When my husband traveled to Cameroon, as he does often, my kids went somewhere with their friend, and they're like, oh, mommy, you're going to be by yourself. Oh, don't worry, I'm okay, it's fine, you can go with your friend. As soon as they left the door, I jumped to put the music, dancing by myself. I have the house for me alone. And they're there. Oh, she's alone by herself. Please go away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Listen,
no, yeah, being
yeah.
lonely, being alone is
Mm-hmm.
not lonely at all. Yeah,
Before
it's
you
freedom.
before you go on, Jazz, it makes me
Yeah,
think of now, like when LeBron goes to work, and like I
yeah.
find like I cringe. Like if my phone rings, I'll be like, "Oh, stop now," like I'm like relax,
You want your
Kimberly.
peace?
People are
Yeah,
checking in on you,
yeah.
Um, like I cringe, and it's bad. Like I said to the Ronnie, I really need to get myself out the house and like probably into somebody's workplace or something and mingle with people because I'm getting horrible. Like literally, I am becoming very horrible. Like really, really loving my own space, probably a little too much.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't know. Y'all gotta tell me if it's like a getting older thing, like, because
No,
I
I
like a
didn't
lot of
have it.
talking.
It wasn't when I was older that this happened. This happened like when I was in my 20s. It was like I really realized that being surrounded by eight people all the time, it was like having my own space was so freeing. And I can totally relate to what Jazz was saying when I was traveling on business. So it's just me, there's no Michael. And you're stuck in an office dealing with people. You're in conference calls and you're eating lunch together. And then they want to go out for dinner together. And then they want to go out for drinks together. And I'd go back to the rare occasion where I could actually get to the hotel and be by myself. I would always get either a glass of wine at the bar and ask them to put saran wrap on so I could take it to my room, or if we weren't doing a group dinner, I would order dinner in the restaurant in to go and take it up to my room because every time I try to sit by myself, someone would see me and come want to sit next and start yakety yakking. I'm
Mm,
sorry, I've been yakety yakking all day long. I need my
Yeah.
quiet time.
yeah,
Then
i-
I don't feel bad then
indeed.
because when I used to work in the office, I used to actually don't go in the lunchroom. I had two jobs in an office. This is after I left my toxic job, and both of them I went into my car and ate my food. I never ate in the lunchroom, like
Mhm.
ever. And I used to always say like I'm so antisocial, like. And then if I see people like on the
No.
way to the car, like I'm like pretending to be on my phone. I don't want to stop and talk. Like it's like I need to go, I need to go. And then always have my cars
Mhm.
tinted, so you never knew. I would put on the AC, have on the car, windows rolled up, and if I see anybody that you work with, like they're coming, I will slouch down. And hopefully none of my co-workers ever hears this.
Mhm.
So antisocial. So I don't feel bad now because
Yep.
then there are people like me.
Yep. It's not a bad thing at all. I mean, you're around those people all
The
day
time.
long.
Yeah.
And then they
Yeah.
want to talk to you through your lunch. Then they want, let's go out for drinks. And like Michael would say, you know what, guys, I've had enough work talk today. Enough work talk
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually have a rule, like when I get home, don't call me about work. Like
today.
Yeah.
literally, I don't go home and don't call me about work. I don't care who Tom, Dick, Harry, Sue. Work is done. I got paid for that time. And that's not my at home time. And I actually started that when I lived by myself. Because it's just like the peace. You come home
Mhm.
and it's like peaceful. you
Yes.
know.
True.
I guess that's probably why I picked up the OCD habit of every little speck of dust, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, I guess I'll ask the next question, ladies. Here we
Yeah.
go. We're digging deep. As we get older, what's the difference in your mind between aging alone and aging intentionally?
Oh, when you say
Okay.
aging alone and aging intentionally, because you put intent, because intentionally is after the last aging, I think of that in the sense of, you know, you're not going to completely isolate yourself from people. And I think you talked about this on one of your videos, where you're not
A
isolate
lot of
yourself
them.
from people, because when you it's true, when you when you do that complete isolation, if something happens to you, then people don't know. And that's why too, like, although I'll cringe, I'll answer the phone, because people gotta know that I'm good. They're checking up on me. They're not
Mhm,
just trying to invade my space. You know, um, and I feel like aging intentionally would mean, like, I think of it as, you have your friends, you have your time by yourself, but also make sure you make time for the people around you that love you.
mhm,
Because as much as it's good to have your own time, remember that there are people that care for you. And if you don't let them in now, who tell you that they're gonna want you or want to be around you when you get old and you need their help? You
mhm,
got to build a relationship now, because I find what happens too is that a lot of people, they didn't spend enough time with their children, they didn't spend time enough with other people, they didn't build that relationship. So when they get older, they kind of, the older generation sort of like expects you to take care of them. Why would I be taking care of you when you didn't even back an eyelid at me when you were
mhm,
younger? And like, so I feel like,
mhm.
because I watch your videos, I'm more like thinking of, you can't be selfish with yourself. You gotta share yourself with people. You gotta be there.
Mhm,
And yeah, so that's what comes to my head.
mhm.
But I basically watch
Yeah.
your video and said everything.
Yeah.
But that's what came to me though. Yeah.
I'll piggyback to that because your channel, Vicky, did inspire me a lot and change really my beliefs in how I thought aging meant for me.
Mhm,
And there's that promise of a lot. If you check on YouTube, there's a lot of people that like, I have no friend and I don't need friend and I'm happy. And it's
yeah.
almost like a badge of honor not to not have friends. And I think it's wrong. It's there's no, I don't know. I feel like aging intentionally means, you know, organizing. Like I see a friend of mine that I've interviewed, I think on the channel, who will buy a house in like a over 60
Mhm,
community. It's a
Hmm.
place where
mhm,
you have your own home, but it's a place where I think is geared to people over 60 and where they can get help
mhm.
in case that they need it, right? For me, that's intention, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
Um, Isolating yourself never brings anything good.
Hmm.
And a lot of us, it's through pride. Myself, before I listened to Vicky's channel, and I told you that before, Vicky, like I felt like I don't want to bother anybody. I want to, I will be by myself, and then I don't want to bother my kids, etc. And that's isolating yourself, and it's very dangerous when you get older. You still need to be. I think having friends, being intentionally around people that um, are positive for your life, help you stay active. The more you age,
Hmm.
because when you isolate your brain space, I don't know, we are human, we need that community, that touch, that the
Hmm.
people.
Yes.
So I'm not sure I'm answering the question because
Nope,
what
you're actually answering it.
yeah, it's
Wow.
like, yeah, I definitely don't want to be alone anymore. I want to age intentionally. And thanks to you, Vicky, for your channel, because your channel has brought so much to me of the way now I view aging and how I'm planning to age intentionally, right? So, Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you both watching those videos because some of them I know I'm kind of abrupt, I'm kind of hard, but like I said, I'm bringing my family's weird, chaotic, strange behaviors and showing people how that can actually come back to bite us in the butt. And for me, that's where I learned this from. My parents were really outgoing, had a lot of friends and all this other stuff. And like I said, being the youngest of six kids and starting to learn that I love my isolation, I love my alone time, and then coming and seeing what my in-laws, who were only children, and they didn't want friends, they never made friends. um,
Mhm.
they even like kept their kids at bay, and see how that backfired for them, that they didn't want friends, didn't make friends, and then when dementia set in, they're asking, where are my friends? Well, you didn't make any, you didn't want any. And so now
Yeah.
you're living this last part of your life and you're very alone, and you want to know why you just only keep seeing this face or your son's face because we were the one. And I mean, even though I would say this, they pushed us away. Um, but being family, we just kept staying in their face. And so I never want that to be me. I never want to be alone and needing people and no one's coming around. My alone should be, okay, now taking this time, I'm gonna go read my book, leave me alone, but not that no one's ever coming around to check on me. No one's ever, answering my calls because they were like, you were gone for 40 years. Who are you?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm I'm sharing what I learned because it really changed me. And I think that's the reason why I started those videos and started sharing my family stories, because I kept seeing all those too. I'm 51 and I don't need people. I'm 60 and I couldn't care less about
Mhm,
people. And it's like,
mhm.
careful what you say, because you could be building that prison around you, and then you're going to want to know why you can't break out.
It is. And I've seen that, Vicky, in some family member that grow old the way they lived,
Hmm.
meaning that they cut away everyone around them,
Hmm.
and and they ended aging alone, like really alone, because no one wanted to be around them, and they were grumpy and mean too.
Yeah.
Yeah, be careful.
Yep. Like,
We all need each other. We all, and there's nothing
Th-
wrong with needing each other. And that's something that I had to learn.
hmm.
Needing people doesn't mean that you are weak. Okay,
Exactly.
It's okay
Correct.
to ask for help, and we need to learn that, women. It's okay to need help and ask for help.
Yeah, we carry way too much that
Accept
because
it.
by
I know.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only that too. Like, I feel like we have a society that where like um single life is so promoted, like it
Mm,
gets put into this I just need me, and
Hmm.
um I that's why there was not only man on the earth, there was man and woman. We were never meant to be by ourselves. We were never meant to be just secluded, because when you do that, that's why you're so miserable. That's why you got
Hmm.
so much anger, because you have so much emotions inside. That we're truly we're supposed to be expressing our feelings. We're supposed to
Yep.
be having those connections. Like we three here, we are good friends, and we might not always see eye to eye in our
Hmm.
in our ideas or whatever, but we get to express them with each other. We
Hmm.
get to be there for each other.
Yeah.
And like how I feel, like if we all any of us share anything and we give any advice or whatever, we feel good. Like I help a friend. And that for me, that's all part of being a human connection. Like, but isolating yourself and saying, I don't need this buddy, I don't need
Hmm.
nobody, I just need me. Like you say, Vicky, like what's gonna happen, suppose you grow old and you get dementia, like who the hell is going to be looking at you? Anybody
mhm,
want to deal with your shit then? Probably if you would
Hmm.
keep in connection with people and actually care for people when you could have cared for people, then people will be willing to care for you. But you can't want people to know that you need somebody. Be with people and be present with people when you don't need them, when really and truly it's just that you're being there for them. And that relationship that person, whoever they are, group of people, will always look out for you. But you can't just push people on the back burner and then expect that when you get older that everybody's going to come to your aid. Not for beep.
And for me to take that kind of a little bit of a different approach to that is not so much that just because you put people on the back burner, no one's going to be there for you. It's that no one knows that you even need the help because you don't have. No one can see that you need it, and
Yeah.
so Jazz brought this up earlier, so I'm going to mention it.
Yeah.
22 light bulbs. 22 light bulbs.
I know.
You know, when we live a mile away from you and we've been coming over and we've been in your face and we've been on the phone, and then we come over one evening and your house is dark and we come to find out you need 22 light bulbs, but you didn't want to ask because you didn't want to burden us.
Mm-hmm.
That I didn't understand then what I understand now. Yeah, dementia had already set in. But however, if you condition yourself that you don't need anybody, you're going to sit in a dark house. But if you've
Yeah.
conditioned yourself that, hey, I can be alone, I can enjoy my alone space, but I also have connections. Yeah, maybe those connections are just I say hi, you come over, I can ask you for something, you can ask me for something. It's not about telling all your business. It's not about telling people how much money you make. It's not about inviting people over to come live in your house. It's not any of that. It's just making meaningful connections, and you can still be alone and not have to be walking around a dark house using the flashlight because you didn't want to ask anybody to change a light bulb. And then it ended up being 22.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that story stays with me and taught me such a big lesson.
Yeah.
Because imagine the danger you're putting yourself into at that
Yeah.
age, for anyone.
And I guess
So
because
Yep.
you said that you condition yourself to not ask for help. But I
yeah,
think that's like why we always feel like we can't ask each other for help. Like I can't call you, or I can't call you Jazz, I can't call you Vicki and say help me. Like we
Mhm.
have this pride that we need to beat down and like kind of like try to remove it, because recognize that we need each other,
mhm,
and
A
if
mhm,
we
lot of
would
it is
only,
a lot of it is generational, and some of it is cultural.
yeah,
I know for a fact that with my in-laws, being part of that silent generation and growing up in the Great Depression, you never asked people for help. You never
mhm,
asked people for help. You took care of
yeah,
yourself because everybody was in the same boat as you. So why are you trying to burden other people? And they never
mhm,
grew out of that of asking for help. And so we got to break those cycles. Like you said, asking for help isn't a weakness, it's a strength
yeah,
yeah,
because you're
yeah,
putting yourself in a better position if you ask for help. The worst thing that can happen is someone says they can't help you.
exactly,
correct, correct, yeah.
exactly.
'Cause that's how my grandmother raised me too. Of um, like I said, you don't take at home stuff outside of the house, and that's
Hmm.
kind of like really isolating yourself. Because like, if I had only expressed when I was in that bad relationship, if I had only expressed my what I was going through to somebody else that was being older or even wiser, or even like this, not, they might not be older, but they might be through the same thing as me or similar, or know somebody,
Hmm.
and I would have not been in that as long as I was,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah,
never, I had that grandmother. I kicked that out of the
Hmm.
way after that because I recognized, nope, I need, if I'm going through anything, I need to pick up my phone and call somebody and talk to them because I need to get that off my chest. And then too, it's allowing people in your life,
Hmm.
because it's not like getting people to, because I think too we have a fear of, well, if I tell you and then this person know, and then everybody gonna
Yeah.
know my business, you gotta just know who to
Yes.
talk to. You
Right.
mhm,
gotta know who to talk to. And you have
yeah,
to, if you have people in your life that, for me, like, if you have people in your life that you can't trust, then why do you have them?
Yep.
You gotta look for better people. Look, I got my strangers. I can get my strangers, you can get yours.
Stranger danger.
Yeah. Rawr, country jazz.
Yeah, and we've actually we've gone. This was a greater conversation about than I thought. So I'll wrap it up so that we can move on to the next question.
Yeah.
But The reason why you don't want to age alone in the terms that we've talked about is you just might reap the very seeds that you sow. So don't sow seeds of loneliness, sow seeds of community.
Mm, I
I
love
love it.
that.
Me too. All right, are you guys ready for my question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, how do you tell the difference between healthy independence and emotional isolation?
My
Hmm.
family.
Yeah. Explain.
I'm ready to hear.
Like kind of like what we mentioned with that, not asking us to change one light bulb, and it ended up being they needed 22 light bulbs. To take it a step further, that once you realize or think in your mind that you got this, you don't need anybody's help, you don't need anyone to come in and do anything for you, that you can always do it by yourself. When dementia, Alzheimer's, cognitive decline, or you get kicked in the head by a donkey and you lose all your faculties, that's what you remember. You remember, I got this, I don't need anybody else. And when you start to lose your ability to think logically, you put yourself in harm's way. And again, another family story. My father-in-law fell. My mother-in-law was in
Mm.
dementia. I got this, I got this. And we believe it was 24 hours that he was laying on the floor while she was sitting there trying to figure out how to get him up instead of picking up that phone and calling us to come over.
Wow.
And then when I called, she still didn't tell me he was on the floor. And when I finally heard from her, because I said, I want to talk to him, I want to see if he needs anything from the store. Oh, he's on the floor. That's it. No, he's on the floor. He's been there. I'm trying to figure out how to get him. Just, he's on the floor. Live a mile away, go over there. He's on the floor. And it looks like he'd been there probably since I left him the night before. And in her mind, right then and there was, I don't know why you're so upset. I told you I'm trying to figure out how to get him up. So when we set ourselves up for this lonely life, we
Mm.
don't need anybody. We got it all. When cognitive decline kicks in, when our faculties and our ability to not think logically kicks in, and we go back to that long term memory of, we got this, we don't need anybody, I don't have any friends, I have nobody I can call. That's exactly what happens. You have nobody you can call. And they were lucky. I found him in time. Gene Hackman wasn't that lucky. Nobody was calling. He didn't know how to call anybody to ask for help. He sat there and watched his wife, who we don't know if she was dead when it happened, or he watched her die and then he ended up dying because he had lost his mental abilities to think logically and pick up the phone and call and ask for help. That's what happens when you don't break that cycle of, I don't need nobody and I'm fine with
Mm.
it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's a tragic story about, he and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and you know what you said remind me of my mom and sister, my two moms, because, in Africa, your mom, sister is your mom.
Mm-hmm.
They always had a lot of people around them, but we were living abroad, like we were living in Europe and they were living in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't understand that. As selfish kids, we were like, you always have people around you and like. And my mom told me that once, she's like, you know, we helping these kids, of course, to go to school that because they're kids from family that they're helping and they have
Mm-hmm.
them, but they help also with carrying water and doing things. And she told me one thing is like, if I fell and up by myself, who's gonna help me? Are you the one in Europe who's gonna be calling and helping for help? You know that in a lot of parts in Central Africa, there's no like ambulance. You
Mm-hmm.
know, ambulance exists, but ambulance will not come to your door. You
Okay.
know, in some places like in Gabon, so in Cameroon. So yeah, so it taught me a big lesson. And for me, it's really, when you ask how do you tell the difference between healthy independence and emotional isolation? Is that
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? The word isolation for me is already like prison. It's already something that's unhealthy. It's
Mm-hmm.
already something when you isolate yourself, it's not healthy. It's
Right.
sadness. It's Yeah, but healthy independence is what I do when I'm alone. You know, when I travel alone. When being alone, what we were saying earlier, you're
Yes.
Yeah.
happy. You don't want to be disturbed in your peace because you're enjoying your me time, your free time.
Mhm.
That's healthy independence.
Yes.
Okay, it doesn't mean that you isolate and cut yourself from everyone. You're happy
Mm.
to reconnect with your loved one at some point, but that me
Mhm.
time is important. So it's important to do the difference. And what you were saying earlier, Vicky, about like, that, I don't need anyone. I want to be by myself. That's just emotionally isolating yourself. It's
Mhm.
setting you for so much trouble along the way, you
Yes.
know? So, yeah.
For me, though, when I think of that, because I did the isolation purposely, and I said that before. When I
Okay.
did it purposely, when I left my ex and I isolated from him and also our mutual friends, which means I had zero friends. Putting myself in that prison intentionally, yes, I had my good alone times, but then when that fun alone time kind of went by, it went into complete loneliness. And that is some place that I would never wish on anybody at all, because that was like one of my
Yeah.
lowest experiences after coming out of that. Um, and yes, obviously, in that time, I was doing work on me and getting me more confidence, and dealing with being able to express myself better and stuff.
Mhm.
But at the same time, battling with that loneliness. That's why I would never forget December. That's why I wanted to manifest a partner. When I say manifested my husband, that came out of I'm tired of being alone and isolated. There's nothing wrong with being alone. Like me
Right.
right
Mhm.
now, being alone and enjoying my own company, that's good. But
Mhm.
not to the point that you cut off everybody, which I did. I did cut off everybody at that point. And 26th of December 2022, I was bawling my eyes out, just tired of being lonely now, and was
Mhm.
ready to like I had my boyfriend in March 2023 and we are all together. And I was like really, really crying. Like, that cry that makes you, try to like catch for your breath. But that I never want to experience that ever again in my life. Ever, ever, ever. So yeah, when I think isolation, isolating yourself from people, it's all right to isolate yourself from the wrong people, but don't stay there. Like, even if you don't know how to meet people, I always ask, and I'll always say this. I go to my higher power and I say, "Look, find me some friends." Before I met you, Jazz, before I was part of this community, that year was like, I want to get good on, I want to get consistent on YouTube. Like, send me some YouTube friends, like, send me some friends.
You
You know,
manifested
2 months
us.
later, you pop up on my channel and you were telling me about Gen X or whatever, millennial, whatever. And I don't even know what I am now. Um, but I'm very happy that you found me. I always say you found me, and that you accepted me into your group. You know,
You
yeah,
manifested us.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
I did.
You know what I want to add? Um, it's valid. Please, I'm not undermining what you said at all.
Yeah.
I just want to say that you cutting yourself off your partner and these friends that maybe were linked to him is also self-preservation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, like when you went into any breakup, even if it was like a narcissistic, a
Mm,
toxic relationship, there's still grief. You
yeah.
still grieve the relationship and being alone. And sometimes that isolation is where you grow, it's where you heal,
Mm,
it's where you prepare for that
Mhm.
next part of you.
yeah.
And certainly you needed to go through that to be able to meet the beautiful
Yeah.
guys. When Kimberly talk about her husband, I always like Oh my God. You only
Yes.
see that on television. The
She's her
love.
Hallmark movie.
I know, the love they have for each other. It's like, oh my God. And sometimes, when we go to the lowest, it's because
Yeah,
something more most amazing is coming. So
I
it's not
said
to say
that.
that, yeah,
Mhm.
So yeah, sorry, I just wanted to add that and
No,
say,
I,
that no,
and
you
I'm
only
sorry
said it.
because if Jazz hadn't said anything, I was going to say something too because I also see what you did as healthy isolation.
mm-hmm, yes,
Hmm.
And it was very healthy for you at that moment. And then when you realized that it was time for you to get out of it, you got out of it. You didn't stay in it.
mm-hmm,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you thought you said you stayed in it, but you didn't. You got out of it. You started going out. You started meeting people. You started talking to people when you were ready. You didn't stay in it for decades, and then it ended
it's
up
true.
being your entire lifestyle.
It's
yeah,
true.
yeah,
You see what?
okay,
I'm glad that this happened because then YouTube gets to see what I put up with in my group with y'all.
yeah, Auntie Vicky and Mommy Jazz,
Mommy Jazz.
Yeah.
Gangi again, yeah. um, all right, um, ladies. So the next question I want to ask you guys is, what has solo time taught you about yourself that you could never learn in a crowd? And I think that's a good segue from what you just said, right? That lonely time or that time alone, teach you often something that when you're in a crowded place, it's difficult to hear you.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know, Vicky.
For me, it taught me that I was shrinking, that I was
Mhm.
shrinking myself so everybody else around me would look better, and that I wasn't really following my own passions. I was going the safe route and doing what everybody else expected of me. And it wasn't until I started being able to have that alone time and start reflecting that I could actually see I was living somebody else's life and I wasn't, aging my way and growing my way. I was copping out. I was doing what it took to have a paycheck or keep the peace.
Mm,
And because when you're in that crowd, that's what they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you what they want you to do, what they want you to
yeah,
believe, what they want you to feel.
yeah,
So having that alone time, that isolation time that's, for a set period of time, not for your entire life, it can help you find that clarity.
yeah, exactly.
I find it got me to learn about me better because like
Mm,
I grew up all I was always living in a house with people. You know, when my
Yes.
mhm,
grandmother in my grandmother's house, I was living with people, and obviously after she died, I was living house to house to house. And then I moved from last house I lived at was like when my father moved from there to then move with my ex husband,
Mhm.
and then we always live in a house with him and sometimes his family and. But I also lived. The first time I ever lived on my own was that when I back, I think that was in 2021. That was my first time I ever lived on my own. And having that real alone time, I got to figure out who Kimberly really was, who Kimberly was really about, and I really got to know me. And
Mhm.
I got to be unapologetically be myself, and not have to dim my light or my weirdness for anybody, because this person didn't get this or that. So when I came out of that, it's like anybody can change me now because I knew who I was.
Mhm.
yeah, I love that. And I agree with both of you. I'll just add to what you said because I share that point of view is that being alone taught me to trust myself.
Mhm.
Like that taught me that, oh my goodness, I am capable of doing so much by myself. I can trust me and I can trust me to handle things. And yeah, and again, my channel is about traveling. So, I'm always going to be talking about traveling because that's the first time I discovered myself going by myself. Like, oh
Mhm.
my goodness, I can go by myself to the other. And I went to India by myself. Like, this was like a very scary, not scary in the sense of it was scary to be in India. Because I've been to India
Mhm.
before in 2009 with my husband. You know, your husband is there, protector, etc. You don't, you know, it's different. And we were in, oh my goodness, my brain is gone. Anyway, we were in the capital. My brain is gone. I just don't know anymore. India. But that's different though. New Delhi, sorry, New Delhi is very different. It's very crowded. It's very. But then I went to Fort Koshi, but because I had that I didn't even know Fort Koshi by the way. But I'm very impulsive when it comes to traveling. I'm daring, and because I had that impression of what was India before, I thought that would be the same thing, but I still went there. I dared
Mhm.
went in there. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm actually very resilient and very. When I set myself into doing something, I will, and it taught me so much about my strength, right? And I
Mhm.
went there. I love the place. I actually want to take my family to Kerala, Fort Koshi. It's an
Mhm.
amazing place. If you want to go to India where it's calm, because India scare a lot of people because it's a lot. It's very lively. It's beautiful, very lively. Fort Koshi is like laid back. It's like the Australian of India. They're like so laid back, flip flop, like it's another way of life. Anyway, yeah,
Mhm.
When you talk about that solo travel, you actually remind I got the memory of when I actually solo traveled to the US for a weekend. I got lost in the airport and
yeah,
headed out. You know what I recognize? And you talk about solo travel so much, and I completely forgot about that experience until you was talking about India. I got lost in the airport, and then I ended up in a train walking through this, and because I was trying to get to some place where I can get a taxi, and then I end up walking through this dark road with this one street light you see in those horror movies. And me and my pink suitcase, and I'm pulling it. I'm like, oh my God, look how this Beijing girl gonna die tonight. But I got to meet like the really nice taxi driver, the guy that I ended up at his place. He was like a solo whatever, he had his own business, entrepreneur.
Mhm.
yeah.
And he called me a taxi. It was one of his friends, and he got me to my hotel or whatever. And I tell you, having that experience, I know this is like completely off topic, but like having
No,
that
it's not.
experience is was scary because I actually saw myself in this big airport, couldn't figure out how to word it as it was because it was made my Barbados airport look like I don't know now. And I'm was gonna panic, and I was like, "Why are you panicking? Ain't nobody here to save you, girl. You got to figure it out." So I was like, I started just follow the people, and I said, "Well, everybody's leaving, so let me just follow them." That's how I got on this train, and then, that's how I got to where I was. And even when was, I made sure too that when I was walking away from like, because I booked my own trip. So I ended up staying in this inn, and I made sure I was always looking around so that I know that when I'm coming on the opposite direction or coming back, that I know where I'm going. Because when you go this way down the street, it looks so different when you're coming back. So yeah, that was experience. I walked so much. I ended up with a blister in between my big toe and my little toe.
But
Yeah.
you did it. You
Yeah,
did
I
it, right?
did. I did. I would never do it
So,
again, but I did.
yeah. But you manage. You see, that's what, when you
I
face
got in a
to
stranger's car.
situation. Yeah.
They say, in America, like people steal you.
Eh,
I was looking because I was looking to get over the bridge, and I was going in circles. And apparently, the guards in the US, they drive cars. Oh, in Barbados, they walk around. So he was a patrol, whatever. He wasn't police. He was a guard for the mall, the little mall that was out close there. And then, well, he was black, so I was like, oh, it got to be safe. So he was like, well, yeah, I'll show you. You can get in, and I'll show you around the corner. And I'm getting in this car, and I'm thinking, yeah, there goes my life. But he did direct me, and I would never do that again. But it was fun.
Yeah.
experience.
It's a story to tell now. You
I
see?
tell you.
Yes.
It's like, yeah. Okay, guys, I'm gonna steal a little bit of time to our show.
Sure.
This month is my birthday month, is June, right? So,
Ooh.
it's great. The reason why I want to bring that to that episode is because the episode, just to remind our friend, is about solo independence, not lonely. Okay,
Right.
and that
Mhm.
will be the third year in a row where I love doing solo birthdays. Okay, the first time I went in the park, I did. Guys, check. I have a video where I go in the park and all. And the second time I went to London, I went to see a show. That was last year. And I went to the hotel. That was so amazing. And this year I want to go to a luxury hotel, right?
Yeah.
Just to show you that solo birthday
Mhm.
aren't lonely. They are intentional. Because a lot of
Mhm.
people will see a solo birthday, you enjoying yourself, and they'll be like, oh, aren't you alone? Like my family also will be like, why do you want to be alone? But it's just, I don't know. It's something special, you know.
Mhm.
Um, have you ever, sort of maybe doing a solo birthday intentionally?
No.
Just
I
for
hadn't
Sorry.
you?
thought about I
No.
hadn't thought about it intentionally because it just has kind of happened. Like sometimes, like if my birthday is like on a weekday and we didn't plan to take it off, then I'm like
Mhm.
by myself doing something, So I never really thought about it intentionally.
Okay.
Listen,
Okay.
when my birthday is coming up, I tell Ron, my birthday is this day. Make sure you get it off. And I'll tell him a month before, I'll tell him weeks before. I will remind the heck out of you because my birthday is to be celebrated. You know, yeah, no.
Fair.
But
Uh,
since it's my birthday month too, maybe I need to do something solo on my birthday. Oh, I
yeah.
can't. I won't be alone on my birthday this year. Darn it.
But
That's
I had a
okay.
lot of
I'll
solo
do it a
birthdays.
different day in the month.
Yeah, being solo on your birthday, it may not be the entire day, right?
Mm.
Because that first time when I was on my solo birthday, my kids and my family would not just leave me alone. Because after some time, they came and get me, and we had something in the evening. But that's not the day by myself, right? And
Mhm.
the afternoon and all of that. So it may be just like having that little moment. It could be even 10 minutes, an hour to like, wow, I'm 1 year older, right? What are my goals? What I don't know, just like
Oh,
being
yeah,
with
I do
yourself
have that part.
for that
Yeah,
moment,
'cause
right? Not being
yeah.
lonely because it's your birthday that you have to be with somebody 24/7,
Mhm.
Oh no.
you know?
Mm. For
Yeah,
for
I'm
my
just
birthday, even like although like we because for our birthdays we naturally go to like breakfast, and then after we come back, like he Laurent goes does his thing. I and because I always do a self reflection, So when
Mhm,
you say alone, I'm thinking of whole day. No, first part of my birthday is yes, celebrated or whatever, but we always have our
Mhm.
our meet times type of thing. We're not
mhm.
24/7. No, that man loves his space a little bit. So
Okay. So, ladies, I'm just going to fire three quick questions for our audience, and we can answer just with one sentence or one word to
okay,
those. Okay. So this is for you, friends. Okay. You don't have to answer in the comment. It's really for yourself. If you want to share in the comment, you're welcome to do that. Okay. So the first one we got is, where in your life are you craving more independence right now?
Less caregiving time.
Oh wow, that's good. That's good. Yeah. And it's okay,
Mhm.
to feel that way. And oh wow, I love that. Um, go on, Kim.
for me, I miss doing accounting like 20 like as it being a part of my full time job. Like I do a part-time job bookkeeping, but I miss the full-time, like grind of, I'm working, I'm studying, everything around me is like accounting. I miss it. I really, really, really miss it. I don't know if that's part of want to be independence, but I miss it and I miss having that full-time income, you know.
Hmm.
You want
Okay.
more
Like I
independence to
like
be
I
a
see
working
women.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't know what it is. I don't know why like women have this thing of, you know, they like to, you know, to be supported. I
Hmm.
always like to make my own money. Like I like to know I'm going to work. I like to know I'm making money, but I love accounting. I mean, it's been a part of
No,
my
it's
family for
fair.
years.
Being financially independent.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 For me, it will be like how I spend time, my time and energy when I'm in Africa. I feel like I'm not in control of my time,
Mhm.
of who I am. I like go into a role of being a daughter, a sister, a wife, and then I completely forget who I am. And I want to claim that back even when I'm there, because that's cultural and that always like overshadow who I am really. And I need to work on that this year. Um, the second one is what's one way you can choose yourself this month without cutting yourself off from others? Ooh, okay.
I feel like a broken record. Less caregiving time.
That's okay. Absolutely. No, that's good. You know, and it's good to be conscious of that. And Vicky, when you say that, it remind me that it's not selfish. I used to feel like that. Like I have two neurodivergent kids and an African husband. It often means for me that my time is borrowed so much by them that sometimes I just like, please get married. That's for my daughters. And leave me alone. Because I'm craving that time for me. So, okay, one way you can choose yourself this month without cutting yourself off from others.
For
Well,
me, it's
oh,
finding
sorry, I
time to
didn't even
meditate.
answer to that question. I was okay.
Go
Sorry,
ahead,
sorry.
go ahead. You could go
No,
ahead. You
no,
could go
no.
ahead.
No, I was just saying, I don't know. It's having that quiet time for myself in the morning. I love that. Like I wake up before everyone, like at 3, 4 a.m. sometime. And I'm not forcing it. That's just my system, the way I wake up.
Hmm.
And I enjoy that time. It's quiet. It's like I have my coffee, nobody's around. That's the time where I can choose,
Hmm.
myself without cutting the others. Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
Um, you went into my brain and took that out. I normally get up before. For me, it is just probably meditating more. Like I feel like when I really meditate, I get to really spend time with myself. You know, because I
Mhm.
dive into like the inner me, and then I get to like really listen, like coming out of my
Hmm.
meditations and just being present. You know,
Mhm.
that's what it means for me.
Okay. So the third one, what would you change if you stop seeing being alone as a failure, guys? Um,
Okay, I'm going to say it again, but this time I'll give an explanation. Less
uh-huh.
caregiving time. And the reason why I keep saying less caregiving time is because I'm a control freak. I have
Mm,
live-in caregivers. I have other people that can help and can do things, but I still find myself being that control freak and trying to push myself into places that I can actually pull myself out of. And so for me, all of these relate to I have to give up that control so I can actually have the alone time to meditate, to journal, to exercise and put myself first. And so that's why the answer to all three of these is less caregiving time.
no, fair.
Being alone as a failure. I don't see being alone as a failure though. Well, because with LeBron, my blessing, one thing that he that me have is that we'll spend time together, but we could also spend time apart in the same space. So where
Hmm.
he has his own corner, I have my own corner. But then there comes a time where we like, all right, it's time for us to spend time together. You know. So I don't have like, people have like this smuggle of feeling you always have to be there and you got to be doing something, you got to be always talking, or you got no. So I don't really see. I would say that I do get my alone time, so I don't think of it as either being a failure either, because I may get to go exercise. I get to, sorry, Vicky. Uh, I get up before him on morning, so I get to do me. And if he gets up and I'm meditating, he'll be like a little mouse in here. He'll be like so quiet, or he'll just come and join in with the meditation too. So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know if I answered, but yeah.
It's okay. I was about to say the same thing. I stopped seeing what would change if you stop. I don't feel that being alone is a failure at
No, me
all.
either.
So, but that came with time. Like,
Hmm.
and honestly, it depends of the context that we're talking about, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Um, I sometimes would feel alone, but not as a failure. Maybe in marriage, like if you spend a lot of time by yourself and you would like to spend more time with your partner,
Hmm.
maybe that can feel like a failure, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's something that, yes. Yeah. Guys, that question is for you. It was not for us. We gave our shot to answer to that question, but that's for you guys to put that in the comment. I just want to share that last passage with you is being alone doesn't mean you've been left behind. Sometimes it means you finally arrived by choosing yourself. Okay.
Hmm.
And so I think, ladies, we are now at the end of this episode. As often, it's so lovely to, come together once a month and spend that time with you guys.
Yes.
And friend, I hope you did enjoy this episode. And I'm gonna ask my friend to one last word that you want to share with our audience.
Just one word.
Yeah. Oh, one short sentence.
don't don't isolate yourself. Build that community around you, because you don't want to build your own prison.
Oh, love that.
Oh, I love
Oh
that.
my goodness, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, my turn.
Hmm.
Um, my final word from this episode, I would say, is it's okay to be alone.
Hmm.
Um, and like the questions that, like me and Jazz last said, it's not a failure to be alone, but don't stay there. I guess it's like what Vicky said too, don't stay there and don't make yourself, even if you're not in the right company, and you have to do what I did, like to separate yourself from the bad, well, or from having that moment of away from people. Go inside and ask. If you don't know how to find friends, ask God, ask your higher self to bring you friends, because look what they bought me. That's it
Oh.
for me.
Excellent. Everyone, thank you so much for sitting at the table with us today. Okay. So the Bold Women's Table. I hope you're enjoying this episode. We'll be back next month for another real talk. And
Yes.
until then, remember, being solo doesn't mean being alone, as my friend says.
Yes.
So until next time, love you guys and
Love
see
you
you next month.
too. See you all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.